Did you see Harry? You heard the shout outs yesterday? Paul, did you get my email yesterday?
Joe, do me a favor. Harry, grab my shawl
What
off the
about,
table
Joe?
right there.
What was it about?
About the
You're cold now?
Yes.
about the
I don't want to shut the window because it'll be hot in here.
Thank you.
But I need
About the protest that was going on.
No.
I sent you a
What
video
email address
and
you got?
of course I didn't see anyone out there first, but then
No,
I
but
saw Lucy.
But do you have my email address?
in here like
Which one do you have? Paul J. Bass?
Well, let's see what I got. I know, yeah. Whatever email I was using. All I had to do was search it and it was there.
I think you'd be just like that when the show's.
Whoa. You're all.
Alright, let's see.
that air ain't no joke on my back.
What happened?
It's cold right here.
Is it? You want me to sit over there?
You feel it?
I'm good, yeah, because I got this jacket on.
Big head.
Oh no.
Apparently not that big. I don't have no phone.
I know, what are you going to do today?
You can't like.
There's no phone.
Got the extended mix today.
Good,
Got the extended mix today.
I know. Is this the remix, the extended mix? The Giant 45? Really? He's one of those kids, right? Need some ADHD meds.
Good morning and welcome to Dateline New Haven.
Got the extended mix this morning.
I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines and the stories that make the Elm City and what we still hope is the free United States of America. I don't know, tick. Nothing ticks better than Pundit Friday,
Take this one. This is
which we're about to begin here in the WNHH studio with the number one pundits in the media universe, like Babs Rawls-Ivy, the dairy-free goddess of our grassroots radio operation, last seen headed to Montreal to the first all-vegan ice cream shop that just opened.
I will be in her suitcase.
She's also the managing editor of the Inner City News, the host of WNHH's Love Babs program, and just the nicest person to run into every day here.
She's turning it down.
Your mic is
Turn your
down.
mic up.
All right.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. We also got the flyest news hunter-gatherer this side of Fleet Street, boss of the Budget Beat, the Beauty Beat, and the Star New Haven Independent reporter, and Shutterbug in the Omni Hotel.
Yes.
I was a show.
Yes.
We have the queen of quippering and quintessence of compassion, the most Hispanic publisher, Norma Rodriguez-Reyes.
Yeah.
The
Hello.
bravest man in New Haven more than ever this week. Front fan and WNHH station manager, Harry Droz. Anybody else in the studio? It's kind of crowded in here. You guys see anybody else?
I don't think so.
Oh, I know who I
That's all
saw.
the names. There's so many names. I can't see them.
You know who's here?
I hope he doesn't have that many personalities.
I got a preview that there was a new exciting name.
Well, you know who's here in the studio?
Here.
Mr. Top 2%er.
No!
The exalted expostulator of extemporaneous
You gotta
exegesis.
remember, he's never going
Bossa
to
Nova,
forget.
Mover, and Shaker, the griot of the grassy
That's what
knoll,
he
the
said.
kiss the door of
That's
passing
me.
criminals, keeper of the cure, the weaver of wellness and wisdom, mellifluous and meritocratic minder of melody, the plow driver of peace,
I need you to get a t-shirt.
the driver out of
2%
demons,
of
discord, and dissonance, the optimizer of opulence and opportunity, the undertaker of unfiltered utterance, the erudite earl of ergonomics, the liberated lion of lucidity, the maniacal monarch of mercy, the blistering barbecue of brain-dead bozos, our executioner of existential enemies, the alchemist of assonance and alliteration, the zealous zapper of xenophobia, sagacious sergeant saltless swing quintessential quipper of quotable quackery, the grandee of grandiloquence of gastronomics, our prize protector against pusillanimity, the distinguished Duke of Diplomacy and Detente, the king of conspiracy
Marlo.
concoction, the deacon of the dozens, the bodhisattva of battle act, the missionary of modesty, mesmerizer of the masses, shaman of the shoreline, the potentate of 360 state, recognized ringleader of risque repartee, the eighth wonder of the world, wizard of wise guy waggery, capable of casual conversation, first name flame, daring don of dope deliberation, the sultan of spit, the West Indian whisperer of want, the emperor of explosive exposition, the esteemed elucidator of ebonics, the top-tier talent from Trinidad and Tobago, the dap-toned deliverer of decency, the maximum medium maestro, bodacious, bold-faced barista of bop, chess master of chill, primo practitioner of pop prestidigitation, the beyond just somewhat honorable high priest of hip-hop, right reverend of rapture, reigning racketeer of rightitude, sanctified slayer of the never late for supper, decorated, dazzling, and indefatigable dunker and dryer of the dinner dishes, master mixologist Joe Ugly of the Joe Ugly Show in the morning. Welcome everybody.
Who's the new president now?
My question, folks. Okay,
I want to be able to do that.
Joe has a lot of names, but did he get any sleep last night?
No.
Why didn't you get any sleep last night?
Oh my God! I was up all night looking at the news. It's God.
Stuff going on. It wasn't because of any noise.
No,
It was
actually,
keeping
The
you up.
siren.
no, actually, I didn't hear no sirens last night.
Interesting. I wonder if it's because someone's been saying that we live in Siren City.
Oh, I won't
And
be
that there are
surprised.
efforts by officials to try to make it a little less noisy with all these
Oh, this
crazy,
is my topic. Let's
super
go.
loud. Well, we had a story about this in the New Haven Independent this week, and I saw that I know that Joe Ugly. This is dear to his heart because he lives at the
I am
top
so
tier.
mad I missed that.
The top 2% are living up at
Okay,
360
here we
State.
go. Yeah.
And what the story was about people like Joe Ugly,
Yeah.
who live downtown, but also in the neighborhoods, but especially downtown,
Right.
where some people feel we have the loudest city in Connecticut. I'm not sure how they quite compare that.
No, it's not the loudest in Connecticut. I'm quite sure. It's probably the loudest in the United States.
And especially downtown where you have these canyons. Although canyons are big
Right.
cities too. Where you have these tall buildings, right? And then you
Mhm.
have two hospitals, one of which is right near downtown where the ambulances come and go, and plus coming off the highway.
Mhm.
But there's another reason we found out. So I was at City Hall where there was a meeting with one guy who lives at the Taft. And he's trying to get them to make it less a siren city. And all these city officials, fire chief, emergency management chief administrative officer, and the regional head of the ambulance company, they said, "We'll sit down with this one guy who's been so upset."
Never mind him. I'll sit down.
And we'll talk to him about what you're concerned, what we're trying to do. So here's what they said.
Can you
They
guys
said,
hear me? Yeah.
you know what it is? Our headphone mic is off, but I think the listeners can hear because it's showing up on the
Oh, is that right?
on the
Okay.
board. But if you're not
I
hearing
think
it,
that's
please
fine.
tell us on Facebook Live. So here's what they told us, folks. I was thinking of Joe Ugly the whole time.
I'm thinking of me.
I'm thinking of you. 'Cause I know it's tough living up to the 92nd floor of 360
90 seconds.
and trying to get some sleep.
There.
So here's what they said. On the one hand,
Uh-huh.
we definitely, our sirens are no louder than any other cities. That there are standards, there are national standards that you have to by law follow, that the fire company and the ambulance company follow. But there are some reasons it might be louder in New Haven.
Well, I got to hear this.
One of which is that of all the 5 major cities in Connecticut, we're the only ones where all fires are trained as EMTs, emergency medical technicians. So they're all equipped to go be first responders on the scene of a medical call. We decided to do that in the late 70s, thought that would make people safer because the firefighters get there quickly and you can save lives. So we often will have 2 or 3 vehicles where other cities will have 1 or 2, the ambulance.
That sounds so good.
And that's one reason. Another reason is because of people like Joe, we live in these big towers, right?
Yeah.
So
I
then
gotta
you
hear
got
this.
these canyons where the
Yeah.
sound kind of bounces off.
No, that's good.
So they said that even though this is true, and the business community, actually the business community, talking about top 2%, they've been complaining for
You
a
want me
couple
to
of
go to
years.
the videotape?
The business community for a couple of years have been pushing city to do something about it. And they said, well, we can't turn down the volume. We have contracted about having a firefighters be EMTs, but there are things we can do.
Uh-huh.
So some one of the things they've done is that they have certain lower priority emergency calls where it's at a doctor's office or a hospital office, like a medical outpatient place, where there are first responders already on the staff. So in those cases, they say we don't have to send the firefighters. So they have 1,000, because we have 40,000 emergency calls a year. And the third reason it's gotten louder is that the population is getting older. There's more calls. So they say we cut 1,000 last year by having people not go to all those, and there's still some more they can cut out. They have to look at some contractual stuff about the protocols of 911. They also said that they can, because it's a 6 to 7% increase every year in number of calls. They also said that they're about to hire a new ambulance unit. And one of the fires, we have 2 out of all our fire stations. There are 2 that have these ambulance vehicles that aren't like big fire engines, but you could do the same work on them, when osmosis noise, all that. So they were going to go to 4, but the fire union fought it because they had to do with swapping out an engine in the Ellsworth station. And they're going to have a third one, so they think, the reason that'll make a difference is because they don't have to drive as far every time you're calling one of these 2 fire department paramedic units. That they're going to be closer. They'll be one of the Goff Street station. But they also said that maybe they can look at having people wait to turn on the sirens in certain cases, in certain places, not as long of the trip with the siren on. So this impressed the head of the Town Green Special Service District, Wynn Davis, who's been pressing this issue. But it did not impress Ryan Knox, the University of Bridgeport law professor who lives at the Taft, who's been pressing this, had the meeting with them and said, it's really kind you met with me. I'm glad you want to do something about it. I think in the last 2 years, he said it's actually gotten louder. Not less loud. I've been here 10 years. It's louder. Joe Ugly's been there, 2 years?
1, actually.
1.
No,
Has it gotten louder or less so in that time? Like, you slept last night, if not for all the crazy news on cable TV.
yeah, probably it's because I had the thing about it up there is if I close the window because it's well insulated, you don't even hear the neighbors. I mean, there's like, what? But here's the deal. I have you as a witness. You've been up there.
I couldn't hear myself think.
I'm sorry,
But-
we haven't been up there.
Yeah, neither have I.
Okay, you guys.
Oh, it's like a party or something.
Oh, you got it.
You guys
got
gotta
it.
understand, you gotta be in the top 2% club.
Oh, here we go.
To get to the 96th
I'm
floor.
counting on my knowing the top 2.
You got- yeah, listen to
I
this.
might not get there.
Don't just let the white people up there.
Well, hey. I have neighbors.
But seriously,
No,
Joe,
but
do you think
seriously,
is it
you
getting
heard
quiet
it.
or not?
No, it don't get quiet.
It's definitely loud.
And here's the reason. What you just read or what you just said all sounds great, but you know what the real deal is? The problem is when I see on a Thursday night at the let out, like around 1:30,
With the bars.
the bar let out, which is right around the corner on Center and
Center and Orange.
and Orange Street, that area down there. When you hear the whoop whoop just to go around the corner, that's a problem.
Right,
But
that's
not a-
police trying
right.
to do crowd control.
Right.
Now, you
But
did know you were
it's
moving
a-
near a bar district when you came downtown, right?
Didn't even anticipate it.
Really?
Because I thought I was so far up, I wasn't going to be bothered.
It turns out the sound carries.
It went right on up. And the thing is, we don't really hear it once the windows are closed. It's muffled.
What are you going to do in the summer?
But that's the thing, they're messing up
Well, it
this
looks like we're
whole
keeping
energy
winter,
efficient.
so.
I think we're going to go right from winter to summer without spring. But just for the record, I've been on email chains where you folks were invited up to the 360 Tower. for
I'm
parties.
sorry, no.
I saw Babs.
The one
Love
time that
Babs.
I was invited, it got canceled.
Yep. Same.
Well, maybe that, no.
No. I'm glad you highlighted that because I have. Was it canceled?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what do you guys think about? What do you guys think
I
about
never
Siren
read-
City?
read- what is it?
Was that?
When you cancel something, what is it that you?
Rain
Was it rain
check.
Yeah, you do a rate check. I
Well,
don't-
let me do a sound check. So Harry Rose, who's very station manager and bravest man in New Haven, he understands audio, right? He's our station
Right.
manager. You commute from Waterbury. How's this? Well, you don't live in the center of Waterbury, though. I'm just wondering what you think about the noise there versus here.
Well, I don't hear anything unless the fireworks are going in the municipal stadium. So I don't hear any sirens.
Like I got silent.
Yeah.
Because we were hearing from listeners who are also concerned in the neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Right.
I was
Like
going to
what
say
do you-
that I don't hear like I can hear when the Fountain Street guys go from the station there.
Mhm.
I don't care where they're going. I feel like I can hear them. and I hear them from the time they leave their fire station, and they usually go up Alden Avenue. I think a lot. So at night they're going.
That's a good imitation.
I know.
That was good.
I didn't even want to.
I get a lot of practice. Our fire station's busy, so shout out to those guys.
So Fire Chief John Austin said it's actually, people don't understand that even late at night you got to do it. That first of all, he said he'd never been anywhere.
Do you really
I
have
think,
to?
I think it's loud in our neighborhood because it's so quiet in our
Yes,
neighborhood
yeah.
at night. So
Well, he says
that's the
that
only
people
thing
don't
you
realize
can
that New
hear.
Haven drivers, he's never seen anything like it. They just don't move
They
out of the
don't
way.
move.
And that's
I've
why,
seen
like,
that.
so like Joe's hearing that. with the
Let's
police.
start.
I've seen
Let's
that.
start giving out some tickets because my
Who don't
ears
give out
can't be
tickets?
getting
Well,
this.
that's what I was wondering what Joe said about tickets. I wonder if part of this is enforcement. So, like, I remember when James Lewis was temporarily our police chief, in between police chiefs, he came from LA. He said, I've been in LA.
Mhm.
There are no crazier drivers in the universe than New Haven. They just don't follow laws. They don't follow rules. They don't get out of the way. But Norma, you were about to say something.
Yeah. You know, if everyone complains about, imagine the people who live on Artisan Street. You know, the
yeah.
co-op there,
Right.
and also
Right
on
behind the
Olive
train
Street.
station. You're right.
You know, and because the fire station is right
Right
there.
there. So they get
So,
it every
you know,
time.
we're complaining, but we don't live next
But
to
you see,
a
what you're
fire
doing is exactly
station.
what you're doing is exactly what everyone tried to do to me when I first came down here because complain. Oh, you live in the city now. Babs was part of the crew.
I'm
You-
still part of that.
You're in the city now. No, just because you're in the city don't mean that you have to.
You can't.
Oh,
No.
Babs,
listen,
you want to get the mic?
I stay in Manhattan a lot, and I'm
Really?
telling you, it's not
You
as
better
bad.
You know why it's not that loud? Because there's so much other loud noise
No,
around
no,
you.
no, no.
So
no,
it
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
kind of buffers it out a little bit.
I feel like that's true
Trump
because
Tower.
there's no place in New York City that's like louder than the music in the stores in New York.
Oh my god!
If you go in there when it's empty, you're like, what are y'all
You're
doing?
doing-
You're trying to drown out all the other sounds so you can get this atmosphere. I think this is a good segue to another story.
What story is that?
Story about some neighbors who were got into it today and a couple days ago at DVA.
And you're talking about the
And it's
zoning
about
board of appeals.
sound. It's a little bit about sound.
It
And
is
a little
about
bit about some
sound.
other things.
And where else would you hear that except on Pundits Live, WNHH Radio, New Haven's home for community radio, 103.5 FM live streamed at newhavenindependent.org, where it's Pundit Friday with the
Scott.
best pundits in the universe.
Hello.
Marquisha, so tell us about that, Marquisha.
So I don't know if you guys saw the story.
I saw the story because I live in that. I mean, I don't live in the building. I
But
work in that
you
building.
work in that building, so
My condolences.
there
That's
are
a bad building.
a couple of developers
Uh-huh.
who finally got approval to put a restaurant where it's been so many things. It was
Oh, Lord.
Jackie's, it was
Is that-
Deja Vu,
That's
so
Soco's. So they're gonna put a restaurant. It's not called a bar,
But it's gonna have
it's
alcohol
going to
and
they're gonna
everything.
serve alcohol, and they get to stay open till
1 in the
1
morning.
in the morning. And
It's a 50 Fitch.
at 50 Fitch.
Okay.
And that's the setback, is the
Right.
little strip setback near
Mhm.
Whaley on Fitch, right on the West River, right by the beginning of West
And
River.
so they got that approval, and they got the approval for the deck outside too, right? Because
Ooh.
the deck was
Where are they
illegal.
putting a deck? Oh,
It's
the deck-
already there.
Oh, it's already there.
It was
It's
built
illegal
illegally,
deck.
but because
It's
they didn't
already
build
there.
they didn't build it illegally, so they get
It's
to
not
keep
their
it.
fault.
It's now a fact on the ground.
Who was eating in the parking lot?
So Westville's always saying we want more restaurants. So
and they were
Westville
very
got
receptive to
and they
other
got so
restaurants
excited
in
with
Westfield
two others,
Village.
and there's a third we haven't even heard about yet. 3 new restaurants coming Westfield Village. Everyone's excited about.
All in
But
that
then
area?
this one, yes, but
Well,
right in the
Westfield
commercial
Village and
area.
then right there. in
Oh,
West-
okay.
But in fact, in an area, the other ones are in fact right where people live.
Yeah.
And then the other one is a little set back there, but right across the little river from where one of the big neighborhood activists and people who made the neighborhood happen lives. But this site has had a history because a lot of Southern students we used to go there illegally, and some shady people ran it. And there was a murder, and they broke
Where I
all the
work?
rules. Yeah,
In
there
that
was a
building.
murder. There was breaking all
There was
the
a
rules.
murder?
Yeah, there was a murder, and there was also just like they lied
Not
about
quick.
permission to build stuff and how they got stuff. So it's not the fault of the person who came
No.
in. So the woman's coming in and had this extra racial element. Was that she's black? Okay, and it's not true that all the people who are active in the Westfield group are white, but most are. So white math would say it's an integrated group. Scientific math would say it's a white neighborhood with some people who aren't white who also get involved, right? And so they came out against it because they were worried about the history of that spot and this now coming again, having a 1 in the morning opening. The woman who wanted to open it says, well, you have these other restaurants 1 in the morning, you're pretty cool with that. And you have a whole history with other problems, and now what you're speaking out against me, but not the others, this feels racial to me. And it got tense, and there was a fight in the hallway between the woman who's
Oh,
black
yeah,
who wants
right
to do
there.
it, and the woman who's white, who's the neighborhood activist who was right across and said, I just could never sleep before. And she accused her of racism and chewed her out in front of her kid. And then she said, you are not welcome, because she wanted permission to open the spot. She said, you are not welcome to come to my spot
I
again.
find this whole thing funny because there's churches that meet in that building. There's 2 churches, and they're loud as anybody. Because I don't work there. Because when they come in, I go out because they are unbelievably loud. I'm talking about churches with drums, the whole electronic setup.
Wow.
So they
Plus, you
rival
got
any
you got a
nightclub.
slumlord business in there too.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
but
Oh, are they?
And plus the
but the church
building's
probably
fun.
isn't operating at 1 in the morning, are they? Or is
Depends.
it-
And the building's also falling apart, but that's another question. It's got
There's
those
a
environmental
whole-
problems. Yeah. So what do you think? What did you think, Marquise? Because you covered one of the hearings where they got some shade. What do you think?
I just got put on the spot. I personally don't think she should be penalized for what has happened what other owners have done in terms
Right.
of not keep like if she can get the approvals, and she did, like, you have to let her, like, because some people are like, oh, she doesn't have experience running a restaurant. Well,
The people who were there.
you can't control that. Like,
Yep.
you can't control. And would you feel better if it were like, so the people who are opening a restaurant at the former First Niagara Bank, well, they have tons of experience. And some people are like, oh, it's it's just the chef, and I'm excited about that, and I get that because they have a track record.
Right,
They have two
Arturo
other restaurants.
Camacho, and
Yeah,
before that,
they
he
have
was like
two
a
other
famous
restaurants
chef.
in town, but they didn't pick that site. They picked the other site because they want to own it, basically. So, but like, she wants to put something in a vacant place that isn't there. She's come to the community, which they always, like, if you don't come to the community, you're not getting no play at BZA. But they came to the community, they presented their plans, they heard people's concerns, and they kept coming to try to address people's concerns and say, talk to us about it. You have Alder Furlow, who's like, I'm gonna be the first person out there if there's a problem, and he has been the person out there when there have been problems with other owners. So I'm willing to give them a shot.
And there are people, including white people in that neighborhood, who say,
Yeah.
thank you for investing. We're going to come to your
Yeah,
restaurant.
they
I'm
have
sorry
the
you got
backing
scared.
of.
Do you think it's fair to say that it's tough to talk about race?
Oh, absolutely.
So, like in this case,
Because I don't want to jump into any conclusions about anybody. Some of those comments do look racially motivated.
do you think it's fair to say that there are definitely issues here that have nothing to do with race concerns? And
Absolutely.
that and to think this has nothing to do with race is kind of bizarre when everyone speaking for it was white, was black, and there was a class element too, come from neighborhoods like West Hills, and that everyone against it was middle class and white from Westville. And that doesn't mean they're wrong or right on either side, but to think that there's not a racial element would be sort of to deny that race plays a role in our perceptions in America. I guess what I'm safely
it'd be
saying is
race
that
and maybe class as well, because
Yeah.
that part of the neighborhood isn't as prosperous as the side of the neighborhood that we live on.
And right, and the very people who did fight this restaurant also fought predominantly white bars that were open till 1 in the morning, right in Westville Village, where people where
And
there
you
were
understand that,
shootings.
who wants to live
And it
down
was
the
very
street
much
from a rowdy
class.
bar?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think anybody,
Owl's
regardless
Nest
of
was a
their race,
problem.
could feel that way.
Yeah, and Owl's Nest was a problem bar they shut down. So I guess my take on it would be is that it's head in the sand to say this has nothing to do with race, but that it also has to do with other things besides race, and that I think everyone agrees in the end that you have to follow the rules, and this woman followed the rules, and she has the right to open a restaurant. We hope it succeeds.
And exactly, she
she
passes or fails on her own merit.
And she kind of lost it out in the hallway, and I don't think it's very good business to tell a prominent person who's concerned about what you're doing in a neighbor say,
Her
never step
best-
foot in my restaurant.
Her best, I don't want to say revenge, that's not the right word, but the best thing that Joy could do is tell her, I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah.
My business will be different.
Yeah, and then come and have a drink.
And come, exactly. And I want you to come. Come for dinner on me.
Oh, now we're really in front of me.
That me part gotta slow down.
Well, okay, after she makes like her first, I don't know what margins are in the restaurant business.
Not very
After
high,
she turns a profit, say dinner's on me.
Hey, do you think that the protesters at Yale are turning a metaphorical profit? They've been getting a lot of, so the people, the Yale graduate student teachers were wanting to have a union. They won an election for like 9% of the graduate students or whatever, so they get to be part of a union now, but Yale won't negotiate a first contract with them. They're fighting the election at the National Labor Relations Board, so they've been in this protest for a couple of weeks now. People fasting. Some of the original fasters are still there after 2 weeks. Marquisha wrote about how some have swapped out. But even though, and tell me if you have the same perception, folks, I feel like the average New Havener, pro or anti-union, is not very sympathetic to the plight of these graduate students. But these graduate students have been so good at creatively pressing their issue, tying it legitimately to questions about Donald Trump and whom he'll appoint to the NLRB, and creatively like getting this shack up that the shed they put up when the police weren't union looking, when they kind of distracted them, and have this facts on the ground protest area. It's become a celebration. They're getting national media, the National Union Unite Here, that is the parent union of the union at Yale. They've been using this example to talk about Yale, this enlightened liberal institution, is trying to play a waiting game so that Donald Trump can appoint people they like to the NLRB and overturn the right to organize. Did you feel this week like there might have been a turning point with they blocked traffic yesterday and got arrested? They had the 2-week anniversary where you had the mayor and the head of the board of alders and the U.S. Congresswoman wheeling the 3 original fasters in a wheelchair before the cameras in front of hundreds of people to a rally. I thought that was kind of powerful optics and maybe outmaneuvering Yale. But what did you think, Marquise, or others who were watching this?
Well, what I think about it is I saw the protesters in the middle of the street, and one of the things they were highlighting was sexual harassment on campus. And I really couldn't connect what was the real protest. Was it because you weren't getting a union, or was it because of
They're arguing because what people don't understand, it's not actually a fight for wages. Ever since they've been spending 25 years trying to get a union, they've actually got the wages up to be able to fight it. So we can't figure out the economics here. They're saying we want to have a union to press issues like sexual harassment. We don't have a process to complain well. Yale says we get it from the right nationally because we get criticized for taking it too seriously and not looking out enough for the rights of the accused when we've brought up sexual harassment and assault cases. So they're saying they blocked traffic yesterday, got arrested, saying this is a fight partly about having a union that can stand up for us on sexual harassment. Now, yesterday, you guys watched them block traffic 3 different intersections. On the ground in New Haven, I'm not sure where this matters to the outcome of this fight. I hear a lot of resentment from people in New Haven about traffic being blocked, saying, we might agree with your cause, but why are you blocking traffic? Why are you inconveniencing our lives? What do you guys think about that?
Protest isn't convenient.
It's not convenient. I mean, it's supposed to be inconveniencing people. That's the whole point.
Okay, can I be a little selfish here for 5 seconds?
Yep.
Okay, here I am.
So you
Okay.
can't get home, 20 minutes. It'll take you a little longer.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell. However you choose to protest, I still stand with that. And by the way, someone approached me. I had an event last Saturday at my building. Someone approached me from the union and said, "Thanks for standing up for their way to protest." And on Pundit last week, Pundits Friday, I believe it was, where I stood up and said, "Hey, you have the right to protest," and they thanked me for it. And they said, and I asked them because I also talk about this on my show, and I said, "Well, what show did you hear it on?" And they said they heard it on Pundit Friday. I said, "Oh, you need to listen to the morning show as well." And he goes, "Oh, early in the morning?
His show.
Oh, no, I can't get up early."
Was it
So, all I can say is, I'm over here fighting for your right to protest, but you can't listen to my show? Selfish moment. Selfish moment.
I didn't
So
see that coming when I gave you permission to be selfish. I didn't see that coming. I thought you were gonna be like, well, I would like the traffic not to be blocked.
I don't know, Joe. Is your show serious sometimes? Because all I hear is jokes.
Was Richard Pryor serious?
No,
Was Stephen
to any-
Colbert serious?
Okay, I gotta go
And-
now.
No, to anyone who can't
There's
realize
not
there is
enough
so
room
much
for the two
truth.
ball guys to go ahead.
If anyone can realize there's serious and truth and comedy more so than anywhere else, well, I got glasses for
So
I
that.
like
you're a
to-
comedian.
I'd like to comment
No,
on
sir, I'm a
Joe
humorist. There's a
Upman's
difference. That's
I
all.
have an opportunity. I've had opportunities to listen to his show on my way in, or to different places, and I love to listen to it early in the morning because it makes me laugh.
Thank you.
And when
Thank
you
very much.
laugh, certain adrenalines come out, and the rest of your day is good.
Well, thank you very
I,
much.
you know, I was joking. I love listening to Joe. I listen to Joe every morning too.
There needs to go
That's
on
what-
Joe's show.
That's what
Is
it needs
there-
to be.
is-
No, but they
there
talk about
another
serious things, but they laugh about
Is
it.
there a show in New Haven, anywhere or in Connecticut, anywhere else where you can find unsigned hip hop artists and listen to them, and it's good stuff, except on the Joe show, Joe Ogden's show in the morning show in WNHH.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And I agree
No.
with you.
As we continue
Well,
on the Friday.
Well, I don't want to keep giving accolades to Joe. But you did have a good artist today. With that song you played,
Oh, did you like
that
that?
was pretty sick.
Oh man, thank you very much. That's my artist, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, how sick are the protesters getting, Marquisha? There's a couple of people there who've been drinking only water for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks now. Charles,
This sounds like a weight loss plan that I need to
Well,
protest weight
Well.
loss plan.
But I wonder whether it's going to permanently affect their health.
And it
I don't
probably
care
can.
about that,
you like there's time. See, the body is very resilient, I think they'll because of the way they're doing it, instead of just going until somebody dies or something.
Sort of like it's not like they're in those 5 countries in Africa that are
In famine.
in famine.
Right.
It's not that.
This is by choice.
Well,
You know,
I think the optics of it,
Yeah.
the mayor and all, I loved it. I love.
What?
No, I love a good. I love a good soap opera. So.
Oh God, here we
Harry
go.
said, I like the drama of it.
No, I love it.
You like the
I
drama.
love the drama. I don't know if it's gonna move or or win any hearts. Like yesterday,
You guys,
we had people coming here, guests and everything, and they were complaining
stuck in traffic.
about the protests and the traffic.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I was listening to one pro-union, lifelong Dwight neighborhood African-American activist. She was going off about the block of the street.
But
saying-
again,
she says, like, what are they trying to think? But you think we black people are going to feel sorry for them because of this? And
Ooh.
I was shocked, yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
But I don't know, but what about the soap opera with
How far
graduation
we've
coming?
come.
Will Yale leave that shed up? So they have their shed
I don't,
built.
I'm looking for a big dramatic action around.
Well,
commencement.
yeah.
I'm a reporter. I'm like Paul, like this type of stuff.
If I was
I'm
here-
pumped. I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna do. They didn't tip me, so I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
yesterday people there were telling me they
ready.
think Yale will not allow it to stand on graduation day when all the
Oh,
big
but
crowds
think
come.
about it if
that
it
they'll
turns
take out
into
in the
like
middle of
this
the night.
big nasty thing. If they try to do it in the middle of the night, these guys are ready. So if
Yeah.
Yale's got something coming, they got something like they're
I
gonna make it
hope-
dramatic.
I hope they leave it up.
I hope
Because
they
you know why?
swap. Exactly.
Because as soon as graduation is
Right.
over, it's
Right.
over.
Oh, it's over.
Everybody goes
Right.
and leaves. Just I wouldn't even mess with it.
Well, I
Not
think
even in
we
the
all
slightest.
feel,
You
you
are
said
so
that,
right.
we all feel like Yale's University, not just some kind of cold, faceless corporation, which actually has not become true in practice, but we believe it's supposed to be. And, they don't insist just to have very, very wealthy people like Steve Schwarzman give $150 million and then make sure there's nothing that makes them look bad on the campus. They're supposed to be free thought and dialogue. I mean, the president of Yale is this great guy. He's
Yeah.
emotional intelligence. He hasn't gone out once to just chat with them. He's written emails that lawyers check first to say what they stand for. I mean, that's not a university, that's a corporation.
Yeah.
We all believe, I think.
But in
if I'm
today's
wrong,
world, I hate to interrupt, Paul.
You worry about
but in
lawsuits.
in today's world,
But then
he
don't
has
be
to do
university. Say we are now called Rich People's Donation
Yale
Inc. to support corporate advancement through bought out academic research. If you want to say that's
No,
what you
that's-
are,
no, that's
call
your
yourself
subtitle.
that. If you want to
That's
try to
your
still be a
subtitle.
university, there are ways around it. You can check with lawyers, but also be a university and be human and go out and talk to people and debate. But in any case, I think we all think, and tell me if I'm wrong, that even Harry Jones would argue, it's crazy to knock it down. You look stupid and illiberal.
Right.
Just leave it there. It doesn't hurt you. It just
Right.
hurts you if you overreact.
Correct.
But I have this feeling in
That they're gonna
practice that that's not the way they
That
look
they're
at
gonna
it.
overreact.
Yeah, take it down.
I hope they don't.
I
hope they
hope
don't
you know
either.
what I really think they should do? Add in a special edition to graduation and include them.
Of course.
Take everybody
This
on
is
a
how
tour.
much we approve freedom of speech.
Yes.
Make it part of the whole
That's
university.
how we live pie in the sky. We still believe that's what universities are.
Right.
I've seen it change.
Like
Yeah,
show
first of
some
all,
pride about it.
Actually,
They
Like,
gotta
with
show pride
labor,
about it.
universities
I don't
have
think
always, obviously, universities have always been completely hypocritical and corporate when it comes to unions. Because the same thing happened in 1983 when Local 34 formed. It was office workers, secretaries, administrative
Mhm.
aides, researchers. And they said, well, that's not workers like a factory. And they had this anti-union law firm like they did today. And then when they won the election, they still wanted to negotiate a contract. They said, we're going to make you strike for it and see if you can get those physical plant blue-collar people to come strike with you. So they did. So they had the first contract. So this is about power. I thought it was about money. And some people said to me, well, how could it be about money? Yale raised the wages. They're spending all this money on corporate law firm trying to fight it instead of just negotiating when they don't even need much more money, these graduate workers. But I think it still might be about money because I think Yale thinks in centuries. It doesn't think in years or decades. And I think they're thinking that if you have 3 major unions instead of 2, they can more effectively shut down our university and drive up the cost of labor. But other people say no, they think it's ideological, that they just don't, they want to have the power in the classroom. They don't want graduate student teachers to be seen as workers as opposed to apprentices and students who get to have as much say as the professors. So I'm guessing economics because I think even universities come down to money now, but people who are smarter than I am believe that it's actually ideology. So what do you think? Is it money or ideology?
I mean, I think it's both. I mean, I think you can't have one without the other in this particular setting. You know, the university has to sort of be thinking forward about its own viability moving forward. But at the same time, they got to know that, you know, they are a university where they are supposed to cultivate
Free thinking.
Free
They don't
thinking.
have, but you know, with this $26 billion endowment now, and they have this whole built up department. It's great they have a big endowment, by the way. That's a good thing because it safeguards education for decades. I don't understand why people are down on them for having a big endowment. That's great.
Right.
But it's become this money factory with this huge department that drives everything else the university does and does quash dissent. It always tries to massage the message and does try to keep out free speech. And I think that that's sort of the root of the problem.
Well, I mean, I think but that is a culture, a leadership cultural thing. I think if they, and I don't know this president. I mean, I think he's.
It's actually the corporation.
I mean,
behind
well,
it.
whoever
But
who's
free speech-
leading the corporation, because I think if you have a different if you have a different leadership at the corporation level, then it will be a different kind of experience top down.
I don't know, Babs, because free speech today on college campuses across the country is really being well, it's being challenged in so many different ways. Because, for example, what happened
Unless you let that crazy education secretary come to
That's
the
in the
historically
vote.
black college
Exactly.
and talk that talk.
And then, of course, there are people who are saying,
That's
you know,
Invited.
and then, of course, people are saying that, you know,
She was
what she
invited.
did was wrong, and she was.
She was invited.
Well, she might have been invited as such.
But
however-
$1,000
So let me ask you,
But
have
they didn't shut Elizabeth DeVos down. They just turned her back.
they
on
turned
her.
their back on her?
And they've been playing games at black colleges from day one. They
Right.
in the White House for a photo op, and then they're going to take all their money away.
They were exercising
So-
their free speech.
Well, they shouted her down, and the college president went up there and he said, "Well,
You wouldn't get your diploma."
We could mail your diploma."
Right.
They gotta
And
mail
guess
them
what?
anyway.
No,
Who
but
gets their
they were saying
diploma
not
on
have the
the day
ceremony, or we could just shut this down.
But
Mail
what,
your
and then
diploma.
what was he doing? What exactly was he doing?
What was he doing?
Within that sentence, what was he doing?
He was squatting.
Taking away their right
No, they
to
had
protest this woman from
They-
being
By
at their
threatening their
graduation
degree.
You
by
have the
by
right to
threatening
protest.
them.
They
But they were
protested.
protesting quietly. They just got up and
They
turned their back on her.
protested, but you're shutting down speech also on
But-
the other end.
But he wanted to take away their right.
No,
they
no.
have the right. Do
He
you?
was saying
Because what she said was so disrespectful.
He was stopping them from shutting her down, which is normal on the college campuses these days. You saying that
And I
they're
agree
challenging
with-
freedom of speech?
No, I agree
Like
with you
Berkeley,
that
they're challenging freedom of
I
speech?
knew you were going to go there, and you're absolutely right. What happened over there at Berkeley? Was it Berkeley or Stanford?
Berkeley.
Okay, what happened over there was just ridiculous.
But that wasn't students.
No.
That was outside groups.
Yeah,
Right,
a lot
that-
of them were
exactly.
students. A lot
But-
of them were
But even in Berkeley, the cradle of free speech, there's no freer speech than on Pundit Friday, WNHH Radio, your home for community radio, 102.5 FM, livestream.org. Hey, Nora Rodriguez Reyes, did you follow what was going on with that rookie cop this week? There was a police officer who was in the police academy, and he failed 5 tests. And you're allowed to fail, and Babs remembers this as a police commissioner, you're allowed to fail 5 tests if you make it up.
These
But
are
under the manual of
hard.
the police department, if you fail a 6th test, you're gone. So the police chief and the assistant chief brought him to the police commissioners and said, we have to get rid of this guy. He failed the 6th test. The guy brought a
Is that
list of
6
orders.
tests in a row?
No.
Oh, okay.
The
Just
guy
6
said,
test period?
Yeah, you can't fail more than 5, even if you make them up. This guy said, but the 6th test was just I knocked the cone over when I was driving, and all the supporters said he's a good guy, he's a good cop. It's hard to recruit cops. This guy was African American. It's hard to recruit
he's
African
from New
American
Haven,
cops.
right?
He's from New Haven. So other people said, but then other people said, well, yeah, the 6th one was cones, but the other 5 weren't. And the assistant chief said, if we don't have any standards, what's the point? And other people said, but the commissioners overruled the chief and said, we think this is a bad rule, and you
I
should
was
be able to
surprised
get
by
on.
that because we've talked about here before that we didn't see the commission as being like the commission seems here as of late, at least the 3 years that I've been here. They kind of whatever the chief recommends, they kind of I don't want to say they're rubber stamping, but
Well, say, please.
but they,
Well, I don't know. I think it's a
I
good
don't know
point,
about rubber
Marquise,
stamp, but they seem to go along.
Well, the
with
chief's
it.
heart did not seem to be
In fire.
Well, he said, I have no choice.
Oh.
The interim chief. The assistant chief said, we got to have standards. If we have no standards, what's the point?
So he's saying this is the rule.
Yeah, and
we
he said
need to
maybe
follow
just
the
change
rule.
the rule.
Mhm.
And so they overruled them. Were you surprised at all, Norma? What was your take on that?
I don't even want to comment on this because it really infuriates me when they're willing to do it for someone and not for everybody else.
And I think that's the challenge. Like, if there's a precedent before where they have fired people or not let them finish or graduate, then if you're upsetting that precedent, are you going to get lost?
So, Norma, what
are you gonna
cases
get
have you
sued?
been thinking of?
There's been a lot of cases in which they put hurdles for individuals.
What would be an example?
For example, for the longest times, supposedly Latinos didn't pass the test, the written test. Finally, you have them passing the test, and all of a sudden, they don't pass the psychological test.
Right.
Then they pass the psychological test, and all of a sudden, they don't pass the background check for menial things.
Like what?
For me,
Jaywalking on Wednesday.
Wednesday's a bad day for jaywalking.
and I was told that the people who do the background investigation, they let certain things go on
Right.
people and not on others. So
And
you
that's-
know,
one of the
it's
things
just amazing if you're not connected
Right.
or whatever, it just doesn't happen. To me, I really think we have a lot of great Latinos and African Americans here in New Haven
correct.
that And yeah, you know what? Some of them, if they grew up in the inner city, if they had a tough life growing up, I think certain things need to be forgiven.
Like hitting the
Because-
cone.
Like we had that
People
case that
change.
Shirley Poindexter's niece. She didn't get allowed on the force because she was living with a drug dealer while the police were investigating him for doing major crimes while he was using her car, and she was letting that happen. And then people felt that
Was she aware?
People felt that, like Norma, they felt she should have been given a break. What did you think, Marquise?
Oh gosh, that's like 1,000 years ago.
So what about you, Babs? You were a police
I
commissioner.
think they did the right thing.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No,
That's
in a
just-
case like that, I
a
understand.
case
That's
like that,
different.
you can't do that.
What about
That's a
this
little
one, Babs?
different.
What would you have done if you were on the police
I mean,
commission?
listen. I think. I think Markeisha calls it right. Like, what is the precedent for this? And who had they not let through with their class doing the same thing? Now he had 6. You have the right to take a test over, and so I guess he did and passed them. And then when he got to the 6th one, I guess there's no takeover to do
Right.
with this cone thing. So, or the
It was the sixth one, yeah, it was
the
driving.
driving thing. So.
Yeah, and I don't have enough information about what the first 5 tests were. Like
But he got,
obviously,
but I understood that he
was the
got
first
to
one
take
about,
take
Yeah, and
them over.
I don't know if I'm understanding from the story that, like, I think what maybe it was Chief Campbell who said, like, the tests they're not weighted differently against each other. They take a bunch of tests, but they're not weighted. Like, one's not like the big final exam or something like that. There was a series of tests that they take along the way that they have to pass. So it even and somebody, I think one of the commissioners raised, I think, a very good question, which was, so if they're all essentially weighted the same, and you're allowed to take those 5 over, then it's like you did. Is it still like you failed if you passed when you took the other 5 tests over? They need to be they need to confirm their own process and decide what it's going to be.
My thing is, some rules are stupid.
I mean,
It's simple like that. Some
yeah,
rules are stupid, and Norma, I understand that they've done it to this person and that person, but I think they have to start somewhere to eliminate stupid rules, and hopefully this is the start of it.
Yeah, so
well, given the biggest danger to cops' lives is driving problems, I do kind of care how they drive. And what happened in the first 5 tests? Was it
Well, maybe he doesn't get to drive. Maybe he just stays on foot detail and bike detail.
Or never be a walking
you
beat
never
officer.
get a
We
car.
do need walking beat
We
officers.
do need walking beat officers. I feel like there are lots of officers.
But Norma
these
raised
days.
it.
Everybody feel that way, and graduation is today.
Tonight, yeah.
So
No,
tonight, and
He's feeling.
Norma raised a good point when you said that they had the background test the way you had the psychological. I recall someone told me, I don't know how in detail it is, but on the test it was asked, have you ever used marijuana? And the person said, hey, what do I put?
I think it has to be in the last 2 years. Tony Hawk wants to change this, the mayor. I think it's the last 2 years. You're not supposed to have done the last 2 years.
In the last 2 years, but it wasn't like that before. Have you ever done marijuana? And of course, the answer is yes. And other people that are on the force who smoke weed. So it's like, okay.
and to
Maybe.
Norma's
Or
other
used to
point,
sell
I remember
drugs,
you
too.
saying, Paul, that one of the things that might be at play is that you said that when there have been African American officers reviewing other potential African American candidates, they're tougher because they expect excellence. They're like, I don't want you to come into the department and make us look bad.
Especially
Because
the
we
one
work so
guy
hard
who
to get where
admitted
we
putting
are.
his
And I don't know if
member
that's at
into a
play
bowl
with
of
the Latino
peanut butter.
officers who might be participating in background interviews, but in certain ways they might be hurting their own.
Really, listen, some, like you said, Harry, some rules are just silly. You just got to get to the point of, if you're going to, anyone who think that, okay, I've got to, we have to get past that.
But we do need standards, don't we?
I understand, but
do you want cops going around who aren't going to be? Now, this guy is obviously supposed to be a good guy, and I feel terrible. He was so humiliated. But in general, we do want to have some like, what do you ask about police too? Like, if they're tough enough or not? Right now, we have an Orthodox Jewish school in New Haven where all the kids were taken out because the rabbi was accused by a couple of people of having for many years raped everybody. Okay, raped a bunch of them. And raped a bunch of people. So he denies it. But even pulled the kids out. But now he found other kids to come to this school, and there was some evidence that believed this could be true, right? So now there's a trial going on this week that Christopher Peake's been covering in the Independent, and this school is still functioning. And the New Haven police decided not. They said statute of limitations ran out on some of these allegations, and they decided not to investigate this. My question is, so are you gonna just allow? I mean, you can't. The guy hasn't been convicted of a crime. He has rights. But do you just like leave it alone? What do you do if you're the police department or your community and you have the school still going?
I know that's a new.
I mean,
That's
what, you have
scary
to
to
wait
think
till
that you would
somebody
just
makes
let somebody do
another
something.
complaint, right? Another.
And that's bad. Now we're reacting.
But someone else
opposed to
did come
being
forward in
proactive,
deposition and had a whole nother series of
But not
allegations
of the
in it.
among the current students at the school, right?
Right there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I need a new mic.
I mean, this was the assistant.
You want to
Okay.
talk about
We hear you.
I bet you don't.
I
Yeah,
do.
we hear you.
We hear
You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Because I can't hear myself, and that's
Yeah,
dropping.
check
You're the
your
loudest.
ears.
You're the loudest person in my head right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a little scary too.
When I tell you,
On Pundit Friday on WNHA. Your home for community radio, 103.5 FM live stream. We're doing Pundit.
so you guys got together and say you got to tell me you heard me, right?
Sorry, we're not
It's
that
a trick,
petty.
right?
We're not petty.
We're
like
not that petty.
I am.
No, you're not.
We know we may or may not live in Siren City. We know we live in Protest City. Do we live in general in a Tim Pock dictatorship or a democracy? Because this week that question came to the fore. We have a president of the United States who, by his own admission yesterday
Everybody, let me
on
get ready.
national TV, said that while he was thinking about this investigation of him and his administration for its ties with Russia, fired, for the first time in history, a president doing this with the FBI. He fired the head of the FBI this week. You got Republicans running for cover now, saying this is trouble. You got people.
There's trouble right here in Little City.
Right. In New Haven, we have somebody who still is proudly defending the man.
Somebody in the
President
same
Trump.
room, never mind the
Harry
paper.
Jost. Now, Harry Jost, you were defending him the other day. In the last day, the new head of the FBI just went before the Senate and said that your man Trump is actually lying off his butt. They said, A,
He said that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He
he's
said the
Yes, he
butt
did.
part. He said the butt part, yeah.
Yeah.
No. The acting head of the FBI said, this is unprecedented, at a Senate hearing, he said, it's not true that the rank and file was upset with James Comey, the fire director. It's not true even that Trump was told he's not the subject of an investigation. He tore everything apart. The president just said his version of events. Harry, I know you're a diehard to the end. Did this cause
Just
any
the end, Harry.
slightest doubt
This
in
is
your
the
mind
end.
that your president might be some kind of wacko, nutty, dangerous authoritarian who's just destroying freedom in our country and the Constitution?
Yeah, that's what
Wow, that's a lot. Actually, wacky and nutty, I'll agree with you. Now, not true and what you're saying about the acting FBI director. He also said that Comey didn't ask for more money. He also said,
The allegation wasn't money.
No.
yes, around the news, it was widely
Resources.
spread around that he wanted more resources than the acting FBI
Resources,
director.
not money.
Same thing. He
No,
said, well,
no,
okay,
no.
resources. Either way, the acting FBI director said we have enough resources. He did not ask for anything. Now, and I
But he
have
also said,
I think he got the medal of Harry. He found something.
No,
I
I
found
keep
one
going.
fact among all this not
it's
to
not
hang
a
down
fact.
on Trump.
No, it's not a
He's like,
fact.
I got
No.
receipts.
But what about the big picture,
You're not
Harry?
gonna be.
Have you,
Are you
had,
being in the
have,
middle?
have you had a moment at all this week when you thought maybe what Donald Trump did wasn't
gonna have
good?
a heart
Did you have a
attack.
moment
No, we
thinking,
didn't.
Breathe, Joe, breathe.
no, just Harry,
Wait.
come on, give
Joe,
the man,
Joe,
probably
Joe,
under
let
that.
Harry
give the
go
man
in
his chance. Give the man his chance.
to the
Harry
hospital,
Jost
okay?
was Harry Jost, the last defender of Donald Trump. Do you think there was a moment where you just, for a second, when we weren't paying any attention, we weren't listening to you, was there a moment you said, maybe my guy didn't do so great here?
No.
Well, what I thought was he should shut up. Like I always think, he should
Praise
just shut
the
up.
Lord and pass the peace.
But let me make this clear because I know we go around in circles here. But if Trump actually did something, collusion, whatever, I'm with you guys. He should be over.
Okay,
I
so
follow no man, and I'm
Okay.
not. I don't look up to any man.
So
Now,
let
my
me-
country, I love
Wait.
my country,
Oh,
and if
that's
this
my
guy
dude.
did something
That's my
against
dude.
the country,
uh-huh.
I'm right there with you.
So let me ask you a
But
question. When this guy,
All
is the
this
same
conjecture
guy,
and all that, you guys
so,
are
so you don't
all
even
over the
so-
place.
So you don't even have any suspicion when
We
this
need
guy
popcorn
out on the
and
campaign
martinis.
trail
And Joe was
screaming,
complaining we don't let him
screaming.
plug.
I'm talking
this
about
morning.
this guy
we need
Trump
popcorn and
over here
martinis.
screaming that
This would be something
Yeah, what?
fun with
Hillary
alcohol.
Clinton, James Comey did the right thing by exposing Hillary Clinton. Blew kisses across the room to him. Oh, he cheered him on for doing it, and then now turn around and
No,
say,
well, let me tell-
that is
let
the
me-
reason. And then last night, hold on, then went
Yeah.
last night on national television and said No, that's not the reason why. It wasn't because of what he did with Hillary Clinton. This is after he left his secretary, his
Yeah, I saw the interview.
press secretary, his vice president, both press secretary and deputy press secretary, Susan Huckabee Sanders.
Sanders.
So he left
She's mean.
you left them all out there and said, "Oh no, that's not why."
Ooh, she's
Okay.
a mean
I
one.
did it because I fired him because this is
Look,
what I
look.
was going to
What you
do,
mean?
regardless.
Look, he had planned to fight, and in that interview, he said it was all about timing. He planned to. But
He
planned
said
to
there
fight
was
Kobe.
no right time.
No, right. He
He
said
said
there was about timing.
no. He said
But
there was no right time.
But listen.
He said,
But now
by the
once
way-
you
no,
once
quote,
you
end
get
quote,
a
by the way,
recommendation
there's
by
no
your
right time.
deputy director,
Yes.
it's the right time.
No, but he did not.
But I'm
he
telling you,
said
it made it easier for him to
But
get
he
rid of
said
him.
he was
Joe.
going to
He was
do
going
it
to do it anyway, but it was
regardless.
about timing.
But you see, that's the
I
joke of the
just want
whole
to see if
thing.
Harry thinks in the end it was good timing.
Was it good timing? I thought he should have been fired a long time ago.
But I
Okay,
didn't think the
but do you
deputy
think what
director
he
even
did?
copped to.
No, but let me ask
say
you: Do
to
you
Trump,
really think
we
what
think
he
he
did
should
with
be
James
fired?
Comey was correct?
I
The
didn't think
way
even
he did
copped
it?
to
So
that.
can I ask you guys what I
Lincoln
thought
won't
about the
get fired.
timing that I felt no one was talking about?
Was it?
So since Tuesday, all we've been hearing about is this very exciting news about Comey, right? Here's what Trump did. That same day, his Attorney General Jeff Sessions,
Yes.
Darth Vader. That same day,
Don't even credit him with
he
Darth Vader.
announced that the Justice Department will no longer try to keep nonviolent drug offenders out
Not
of jail.
jail. Yep.
He announced that he's
Yep.
going to go about trying to stuff our jails again with little
Sure did.
Did you see the
African American
for-profit
people
No, the hell.
for-profit
jails.
jails
crisis.
Right.
are
Yeah.
coming back up?
So no one's
Same
talking
story.
about that while they're talking about this drama about
Oh,
the
hold
apprentices get
it,
fired.
Paul.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes, we are talking about that. Joe Ugly in the morning, 6 a.m. to 9.
What do you think, guys?
like, I'm
Like
doing my
Babs on
own
Marquisha this
segment.
week was writing about James Foreman Jr., the Yale law professor, who's writing about the presidential complex, the danger this is posing to our cities and our community. But there's this whole Republican and Democratic consensus in the country, at state houses and cities across the country, that we have too many nonviolent people in jail. It's not
Yep.
helping them. It's not making us safer. It's costing us tons of money.
Right.
It's not rehabilitating anybody. It's not
I mean,
being
they
able to
should
solve
look
the
to
problem.
Texas. I mean, Texas decided this already. They decided this years ago that housing people like this was too much for their fiscal budget.
Now, luckily, I think most people are charged on state, not federal, if I'm not mistaken. So Sessions can't destroy this the way he's destroying consent decrees to try to make people safer.
I hope he gets to go to jail. I hope he
I'm
does.
scared to death of this guy.
But the one, I am fearful of Jeff Sessions being the Attorney General, but I'm keeping hope alive because, after all, he is tied in to this whole
Yeah.
Trump
So when
Russian
it all
connection.
falls
That's the problem for
down.
me. While I hate Jeff Sessions more than anyone in America, I think he's the Ku Klux Klan. He's doing with immigration,
Oh, yeah.
with the consent decrees. He's even willing to override his concern for local police chiefs and overrule them on
Right.
consent decrees to protect African Americans on immigration.
Correct.
But I am not upset with him about Russia. I think the left has completely blown that out of
What do
proportion.
you mean?
He shouldn't have misspoken at his hearings, but I think senators on the Foreign Relations Committee are supposed to speak to people from Russia. I think that
Not
I think
in,
he was
but
part
not
of
in
the
his
No,
capacity.
but not in that capacity,
Not in
yeah.
that capacity.
I'm
He
with
wasn't
you.
in the capacity at the time.
He was part of
last
the
summer.
campaign.
He was
He was
supportive,
part
but he
of
wasn't.
the
There was no
campaign.
evidence he was speaking to them about the campaign.
There's no
Oh,
evidence
no,
that he
come
wasn't.
on.
Yeah,
No, I'm not saying, Babs, that you should
but
look
there
into
was
the
no
question.
evidence that he wasn't either.
Right,
so that's
and
why he
and
should have
shouldn't have
recused
misspoken
himself
at the
from
hearing. But of all the
He
horrible
didn't
things,
misspoke.
of all the evil about Jeff Sessions,
Yes.
acting like a responsible senator to talk about foreign affairs with the Russians doesn't seem to me
I don't even
like
know.
I don't
a-
He
know.
was
Just
not.
say Harry's
but he
so
was
happy
not-
right
yeah,
now.
he was not talking about.
See, I'm not going with that duality.
No,
I'm
wait.
not.
Let's just go back to the original
I'm
thing.
not going back to that.
Now, Sessions, I don't think he should have been Attorney General either, because he has too much of a history.
Say Rudy
with
Giuliani.
rape.
I'm coming across this room.
I love Giuliani, by the way. I was in New York during Giuliani. I saw what Giuliani did
I
to
worked
New York.
for Giuliani when I was a grad student getting my master's.
I thought you was going to say when you were in prison. Because
so
What did you do for Giuliani?
they have a program, a medical assistance program, and so I was charged with inventorying those programs in the 5 boroughs and figuring out why they had this process of trying to turn people away from medical assistance programs. So they had this system in place that a real system in place that if you showed up for medical assistance at anywhere in these boroughs, that they would make you wait so that you would turn around and leave, that you wouldn't seek assistance. So they had all
That's
these
who you
barriers.
support?
They had all these barriers
That's who you
to
supporting?
keep people from from applying for medical assistance programming.
Norma, did you have a final word here you wanted to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, I think we have hit on a button with Giuliani. We got to remember next week that as soon as we got Harry and Babs and Joe in the studio, we have to mention that name, Giuliani.
Say it.
So
I
I'm gonna
love
leave you that-
Giuliani.
We're going to leave that with you this week as we say thank you for listening to Pundits Fridays with the best pundits in the world. You saw why today. Don't worry, your famous Bob Charles, Ivy, Marquis Rich, Joe Ugly, the many names, and Harry. Joe's the bravest man in New Haven.
Yes, he is.
So we are not done talking about Giuliani. We're just done for today. And we're going to take it
But
out
he's
with the
not.
Afro-Semitic experience performing I
he
Wish
were
I
the only
Knew
one.
How It Would Feel to Be Free. From the group CD, A Plea for
That's the
Peace.
scary part.
Now, at least for the next 5 minutes in America until Jeff Sessions gets to his next goal. You know what it's like to be free. We just got to
Locking
remember to
up
book our
babies.
flight. Book, hit, and fly free with us all weekend long here. WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.